Hello. I've been doing Hollow Knight related content for over 3,500 combined hours total over the course of 5 years. Suffice it to say that Team Cherry's silly little indie game about bugs had me enthralled. There's so many different ways to enjoy this amazing journey that the possibilities seem almost endless. Now that I've had ample time to acclimate myself to Silksong as well, I thought I'd put all of my experience on the line. Over the course of a weekend, I spent a grueling amount of time scouring each and every inch of both Hollow Knight and Silksong to see just how fast I could get every achievement in both games, back to back. Combining both these games together gives us a total of 115 achievements needed. Will my knowledge of these masterpieces fail me, or will I be able to finish the Team Cherry Platinum Gauntlet? Let's find out. Before we hop in though, there's a lot of new faces here recently, so hi! My name is Cactus. I'm most well known for being the only person to beat the original Hollow Knight completely blindfolded, among other challenges like Hitless Pantheon 5, One-Fingered Any Percent, world record holder for the impossible Any Percent speedrun, and a sub 3-hour time and 112% all Pantheon bosses. This entire journey was streamed live over at my Twitch. If you want to see more stupid challenge run content like this, you should drop a follow. I'm live every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 12 a.m. CST. I'd love to see you there. And while you're at it, you're probably one of the 93% of people watching my weekly uploads that aren't subscribed. It's completely free, and you can always change your mind later. That being said, let's begin. All Achievements is already a niche category ran in the Hollow Knight community, so lucky for me, there was a route I could follow along with. While we hunt for the smaller achievements, something we'll have to keep in mind are the 3 speedrun achievements. Technically, we only need to worry about one, because if we beat that time, then we'll get all the rest by default. Not a difficult ask by any means, especially considering the aforementioned routing. See, something I forgot to mention is that there are several achievements that are completely missable, depending on your choices throughout the game. Specifically, these 6. The ones dealing with the Nailsmith's Fate, the Grim Troop, and Grey Prince Zote. Thanks to these 3 things, we have to separate this single run into 2 different files. One where we kill the Nailsmith, banish the Grim Troop, and leave Zote to die, and another where we have mercy on the Nailsmith, finish the ritual, and save Zote. I launch into the first run. Since the only goal of this run is 2 specific achievements, we can just make a beeline for 2 things: all the Pale Ores, and the first 2 rounds of Grimkin Flames. I progress through the run as normal, unlocking the Crossroads Stag on my way to False Knight. Normally, this would be our first achievement, but we instead leave his arena early as he is one of the things we don't need to worry about in the first file. We pick up Vengeful Spirit and head into Green Path, effortlessly nailing the fireball skips on our way to Hornet. We make sure not to save Zote, and nab our first achievement of the run before quitting back out to Ancestral Mound. We next head down into Fungal Wastes for the Mantis Claw, effortlessly ruining the explosion pogo skip with grace and having to go around the long way again. We collect the claw and quit out again to start heading to Salubra to do Shade Skip to get to the Rusting Grounds early. After collecting the Dream Nail, I head down into the city and run to the Soul Sanctum. We'll need the dive ability to access some things later. I leave the city behind, grabbing this simple key on the way to the Storeroom Stag, and stagging to Crossroads to enter Crystal Peak. We collect the King's Idol for later, grab Sly's key, and head straight for the Crystal Dash, which we need to enter the Crystallized Mound for Descending Dark. Since we don't go for any nail upgrades until near the end of the run, Shade Spells will be our main source of damage. After collecting D-Dark, we head back to the city to open the King's Station, netting another achievement, and stagging back to Dirtmouth to buy the Elegant Key from Sly. The Soul Warrior dies easily, and we collect the Shade Soul, which we'll use against the Watcher Knights on our way to Lurien, our 4th achievement. The next thing we need is the Monarch Wings. Normally not required for an Any Percent ending, however, we need it to access the Pale Ore at Crystal Peak. Broken Vessel is no match for our onslaught of Shade Spells, but a chatter gives me a needed reality check. There's a single grub in the splits, which I don't know why. Need 31 grubs for an ore? What? Why is it in the frickin' splits then? Dude, this is bullshit. No, I've not been collecting grubs because it's not in the splits! Why would I collect grubs if I'm not told to collect grubs in the splits, man? I'm just following the splits! When I ran 112%, every little thing you do was in the splits. So I guess I was just falling back on old habits. We grab the wings and fight Lost Kin. They're the only dream boss we'll be fighting, as, thankfully, the seer gives you her pale ore at only 300 essence. After killing Lost Kin, we grab this grub before opening the hidden stag and heading over to Dirtmouth to activate the Nightmare Lantern. We acquire the Grimchild and another achievement, as this was the first charm we've picked up in an hour. We grab these grubs on the way to Monomon, abusing Umu with D-Dark for an easy win, and claiming another achievement. We head to the right to start making our way to Nosk in Deep Nest, but make a pit stop to grab these grubs we had passed by earlier. There's a little ledge right here. Did you guys know that? There's a little tiny ledge you can stand on right here. Anybody know that? I didn't know that. We get the Mimic Grub and Nosk Grub, and then finally fight the Imposter, taking an easy win and our first pale ore of the run. We'll need a total of 6 by the end. We next have to go to Hera, which means we get to navigate through Deep Nest without the Lumafly Lantern. Thankfully, these rooms were a part of the blindfolded routing, so I'm very familiar with their layout, and we soon make it to Hera for our third Dreamer. We get the Beast Den Grub and Stag back to Dirtmouth, doing the first round of Flame Collection in Crystal Peak. There's also a lot of grubs that I missed here, so I clear out the peaks before getting the Pale Ore at the Peak early, since I'm already in the area. I return to the crossroads to collect a few grubs that I missed there, and get a little too cocky for my own good. Hey you, did something funny just happen? Uh-oh. Oh my god, did you see that? Hopefully, this won't happen when we're on the Steel Soul files. I head back to Greenpath to clear out those grubs as well, and finish collecting the flames by peeking my head into the storerooms. We turn in the first round of flames, collect the first of the second round in King's Pass, then stag over to Salubra to purchase Shaman Stone so we can more safely kill things in Kingdom's Edge. We need to go to the edge for the second flame and the first 2 rounds of Colosseums, as the second trial has a pale ore that we need. After stopping by resting grounds, we collect the last flame and stag to Hidden Village, talking to Brum so we can immediately go and banish the Grim Troop. Now, this is where I pay for my crimes and have to go on a mini grub hunt to finally collect the 31 needed for the Grubfather's Pale Ore, so we can finally head over to the City of Tears to upgrade our nail. Just kidding, I completely forgot to get this Pale Ore in the basin. Surely the scatterbrained nature of this run won't translate to the rest of the challenge, right? Finally, we get the Pure Nail, kill the Nailsmith, and obtain the any % ending of the game, the Hollow Knight. Finally, we can begin the real run. This one has to be on Steel Soul for the 100% Steel Soul achievement. We basically... Whoa, dude, the Steel Soul thing is Oblivion? That's so sick! The normal one is Oathkeeper and the Steel Soul one is Oblivion. That's so sick, dude. God, I'm such a nerd. I love that so much. We pretty much copy-paste the early game of the last run with a few additions, grabbing Fury of the Fallen, killing False Knight, getting Soul Catcher, and saving Zote. You'll notice I'm taking every opportunity I can to kill any enemy that I come across. This is for the achievement that I am least looking forward to, completing the Hunter's Journal, for which you have to kill each separate enemy multiple times. It's a massive time sink, so I'll most likely be saving it for last. We get the Mothwing Cloak, Mantis Claw, Spell Twister, and Dive, making sure to kill every enemy we see. Like I said, we'll be saving the journal for last, but it doesn't hurt to go out of our way early if we're in any specific area. Now, I'm not going to be touching on every single little thing that I do, because if I did, this video would be hours upon hours long. Just assume that since I'm on the bigger 112% run, if I'm in an area with a grub or otherwise smaller collectible, I'll be grabbing it. Anyways, I do a pass on Crystal Peak for the Crystal Dash and Descending Dark, grab Dream Nail and buy Shaman Stone from Salubra, use Sly's key to access Shade Soul, and kill Soul Tyrant for their essence, netting me another achievement. We make our way down to the Royal Waterways, killing Flukemarm and Dung Defender, head to the basin for Monarch Wings and Lostkin, and head to Crossroads for Failed Champion. Since we're going to be running all over the map in this run, we're rushing Dreamgate as soon as possible to make backtracking from all the corners of Hallownest that much easier. We go to the resting grounds for Dreamgate, kill Zero while we're there, then stag over to Dirtmouth to clear out Howling Cliffs. Apparently, there's some kind of skip to get to Shape of Moon early, but I don't know what it is, so I make a pit stop over to Isma's Grove for her tier before getting back on track. While we're back in Greenpath, we do everything we can here, grabbing Great Slash, killing Mossy and getting a Vessel Fragment, obtaining Howling Wraiths and killing No Eyes, before quitting out and heading into Crystal Peak. Here, we need a Grim Flame, Deep Focus, the 2 Crystal Guardians, getting another achievement from obtaining our first Mask upgrade, and the Grub plus Pale Ore from the last run. Now we need to head to Kingdom's Edge, but first grab the last flame from the storerooms and upgrade Grimchild, so we can get the Grim Flame from the Edge while we're there. On our way to King's Station, we stop by the resting grounds for another flame. We grab the flame in Kingdom's Edge, beat up Hornet, claim the King's Brand, and finally head to the Abyss for Abyss Shriek and Shade Cloak. I grab the Arcane Egg and gate back to King's Station, heading to the Spire to kill Watcher Knights and absorb Lorien. Then, we stag back to Dirtmouth for the flame in King's Pass and take on Grim, before killing Brooding Malek in Crossroads and heading into Fungal Wastes for Elder Hu, Mantis Lords, and rescuing Bretta. Next up is Fog Canyon, where we grab this Charm Notch and kill Umu again, abusing them even easier than last time with Abyss Shriek. Before leaving, we have to make sure to get the Lumafly journal entry, as these are one of the secret entries you don't learn about just by killing enemies. The next place we clear out is Queen's Gardens, grabbing the Love Key, inspecting the Moss Prophet's corpse for another journal entry, and killing all these grub mimics in Deep Nest. After gating back, we kill Marmu and Trader Lord, collecting the first half of the King Soul, before quitting out so we can make our first foray into Deep Nest. The route wants me to start the Mr. Mushroom quest here, but I decide to save that for the end, where chat will guide me to each of the locations one at a time. It just seems like too much of a headache to run all the way over to Fungal Wastes right now. Anyways, we absorb Hera and talk to Brum for a free flame. We're not banishing this time, but it's still a free flame collection and saves us from having to fight one of the 3 big Grimkins. We collect the Tram Pass, save Zote, and fight Nosk, then quit out to tram over to the Hive and clear it out, grabbing the collectibles and killing Hive Knight so we can take the Hive Blood. We head up, grabbing a few grubs and running through Kingdom's Edge a second time, killing Markoth, acquiring Dash Slash and Quick Slash, and killing the Collector. Next, we sell to Lim and upgrade our nail 3 times, so we'll have an easier time in the Colosseum, heading downwards real quick to kill White Defender. We also stop by the basin to collect this last Grim Flame, then head to Dirtmouth to get Nailmaster's Glory and buy out Sly's shop. We buy all the maps from Isolde for the Cartographer achievement, then collect all of Grubfather's rewards. We fight Nightmare King Grim to complete the ritual, then begin the flower quest by talking to Grey Mourner. We do everything you do on a classic flower quest, buying out Salubra, getting the Mass Shard and Grub, but I realize something terrible as we enter Fog Canyon. Oh, this is terrible, this is terrible, this is terrible, this is terrible. God. Grimchild in this room. Jesus. Why do I have Grimchild equipped? Oops. Thankfully, we dodge disaster and complete the flower quest first try. After collecting the Grey Mourner Mask Shard, we are finally nearing the end of the Hollow Knight stretch. We stag over to Howling Cliffs to take Joni's Blessing, which we had forgotten, then head to Kingdom's Edge to finally take on the Colosseum. We finish the 3 trials with ease, and kill the Pale Lurker for their Simple Key. After this, we stag to Hidden Station to complete White Palace, collecting the King's Soul, and then the supposed final vessel fragment of the run, but it turns out I had completely forgotten to grab the one unlocked via this elevator in the city storerooms. Now with the final vessel fragment, we equip all the blue charms for maximum blueness and head into the Abyss, before again realizing that I've forgotten a few mask shards. Surely this only spells good thing for Silksong. We run really quick to Bretta's house in Fungal Core to grab the 2 shards we missed, then Dreamgate back to the Abyss for Lifeblood Core and Voidheart. Finally, we stag to Crossroads to collect Salubra's Blessing. Smoochies! I couldn't lean far enough forward to get the proper POV. Then head to the Nailsmith for our final nail upgrade, making sure to not kill him so we can get the Happy Couple achievement later. Now we are in the endgame. We head into the Royal Waterways for the Pantheons, dispatching each of them with ease. We get achievements for each one: Pantheon of the Master, Pantheon of the Artist, Pantheon of the Sage, Pantheon of the Knight, and multiple for Pantheon of Hollownest, since we also get the All Steel Soul and 100% achievements at the same time. Now this is the time we wrap up all the other little achievements. Turns out I had forgotten to visit Dead Zote in the first file, so we go to pay him a visit in Greenpath for the Neglect achievement. We head back to the main file to do the opposite thing and fight Great Prince Zote, then equip Spore Shroom and begin the scavenger hunt for Mr. Mushroom, visiting Fungal Wastes, Kingdom's Edge, Deep Nest, Howling Cliffs, getting the Stag Nest achievement along the way, Hidden Basin, Queen's Garden, and finally in King's Pass. We head to Greenpath to complete the Happy Couple achievement, and finally begin the mad dash to complete the Hunter's Journal. This was the worst part of the entire HK experience, and it wasn't even close. Why do I need to kill the same 15 health enemy 30 times? Why are there hidden entries that you don't get to know about? I thought I was done 4 separate times, and each time had my hopes dashed against the wall. After over 2 hours of running around the map, doing basically nothing, I got fed up and headed to the Black Egg Temple to collect the World Sense, which shows you how many more journal entries you need to complete the journal. While I'm here, I do the Sealed Siblings ending. Turns out the one journal entry I was missing was the maggots outside Failed Champion. I really wish the reward for this garbage wasn't a printed out certificate, but at least the hunter is pretty cool, I guess. Anyways, we sit with Coral at Blue Lake and get the true ending, Dream No More. And with that, we have finally completed Hollow Knight after 13 hours, 31 minutes, and 47 seconds. Had I actually looked at the route beforehand, or done any practice, we probably could have shaved off at least a few hours, but where's the fun in that? You came here to see someone get tortured, not do everything the easy way. Now, Silksong, unfortunately, is much too new to have an all achievements route already planned. I'm not even aware if anyone has tried to complete an all achievements run yet. Let me know in the comments if someone has. I'd love to check it out. So to mitigate this, I've installed a completion tracking mod that shows where everything is on the map, as well as giving me tiny pop-ups whenever an item or enemy I haven't killed yet is close by. I'm not about to spend 30 hours tabbing in and out of the wiki every time I need to find something. Also, thankfully, Silksong doesn't have any missable achievements, so we won't need to do multiple runs. All 52 achievements can be done on a single 100% Steel Soul file. The Silksong run begins. The first thing we do is say hello to Dave, almost immediately losing the run. After the travesty that was the Hunter's Journal segment of the Hollow Knight run, I am triple careful to kill absolutely everything I come across to make the load that much lighter later on. We grab the moss berries for the druid later and kill the moss mother, escaping the moss grotto. We run through the marrow, and I show immense discipline by not doing the beastfly skip, instead opting to do the whole arena the long way around, due to the aforementioned Hunter's Journal shenanigans. We collect the Silk Spear for our first achievement, and collect this last berry so we can say hello to the Moss Druid for our first tool, and another achievement. Then we visit the Bell Beast, playing with them until they get all tuckered out. Oh, look at them. We consume the Silk Heart and run through the marrow, collecting a craft medal, straight pin, unlock the Deep Dock Spellway, and defeat the Ant Arena to obtain the Swift Step. We then obtain our first flea. We'll need 30 of these cute little guys to collect them all, a massive step down from the Hollow Knight's 46 grubs. At least there are some positives for Silksong. We go kill Lace for our third achievement, and run through far fields to speak to the seamstress, finishing her quest for the Drifter's Cloak. Unfortunately, we can't skip fourth course this time. I mean, I guess we could, technically, and we're already coming back later for other things, but whatever. It's basically a long cutscene anyways. We head up and unlock the Bellway in Farfields, then grab this flea over to the left, before talking to Mort for a tool pouch and weighted belt, and making our way up to Greymoor. I ring the Greymoor bell and head to the left. We talk to New for her wish and the Hunter's Journal, unlock the Greymoor Bellway, obtain the Reaper's Crest from the church, and fight Morwing for entry into Bellheart. My current plan is to progress through the game as normal, and once I enter Act 2, I'll collect the second needle upgrade and the wings, after which I'll start spreading myself out over the map to collect everything I can. Ideally, I'll get everything possible done before I enter Act 3, which will unfortunately include most of the Hunter's Journal. This is because Act 3 makes many enemies more difficult and also changes spawn rates and locations for other enemies, making it a headache to track them down. In short, I'll be taking advantage of Act 2 while the getting's good. Anyways, I poke my head into Shellwood to get the long pin and a flea, before getting sent down to 1 HP and realizing I should probably go buy the Fractured Mask real quick. So after a quick shopping detour, I return to Shellwood more confident than before. I grab a paw apart on the way to Sister Splinter, who goes down without issue. As long as you stay light on your feet, it's pretty hard to get hit. We grab the Cling Grip and head immediately over to Widow, who, after running 80% for so long, is a non-issue. Finally, with the town saved, we grab all the quests, upgrade our needle, and sell all of our relics to Scrounge. I run around Shellwood and finish collecting the Polyp parts on my way to the Courier, then dip into Wormways for Shell Satchel and a flea, before grabbing the Mass Shard at the entrance and killing the Craggler. Since I'm in the area, I head to Bone Bottom to buy some things from the shop and accept all the quests I can. Something else that will really help our damage output is the Evolved Hunter Crest, which we need more open crest slots to work towards, so I also head over and grab Wanderer's Crest from Bonegrave. As I'm heading into Weavenest Atla, I make a quick pit stop to the left to grab the Weave Light before saying hi to Ava and getting a new toy. Finally, I grab the Spool Fragment and the Mask Shard from above, then vacate the area. We get another achievement by collecting this other Spool Fragment from Bone Bottom, then do a quest completing Jamboree running around the Marrow, collecting shawls, flint gems, completing a minigame for another pouch, getting another achievement by finally upgrading our health, and killing Skull Tyrant. After completing all the quests, we ride with the fleece to Greymoor and sell our newfound relics to Scrounge, so we can finish buying out the shop in Bone Bottom. Next, we do a quick tour around the right side of Greymoor, clearing out the entirety of Craw Lake. The Craws are one of the higher Hunter's Journal entry numbers, but unfortunately, they're just too annoying to deal with right now, so we'll come back later when we're more geared up. I do the Craw Arena to finish up the Innkeeper's quest, grab the Threefold Pin, Threadstorm, and finally clear out the upper area as well to be rid of the London-esque climate. I return to Bellheart to buy out the shop here, then use enough lockets to be able to fill out my build on the Hunter Crest. I dip below to hunt for the Silver Bells, and with that, I'm finally able to put Bellheart and Greymoor both behind me for the time being.
I had a really good bit. It's a blue style bit. Not in that it's a bit Blue would do, but it's just like something that Blue would write down on his phone to do during stream that's funny. Borat, but he's a widower. My wife.
Our next target is Blasted Steps. Thankfully, there isn't much to do here right now. We grab some minor collectibles and kill some enemies for the journal, but mostly we're just passing through. What are my pronouns? I go by he, him. Call me Michael Jackson the way I go by he.
I'm sorry. No, that one was bad. I'll -2 myself. +2, -2, but thank you. I'm not proud of that. Look, I said I'm tired. I don't have a filter anymore, okay? I have no filter. These things just spill out.
I spend way too much time trying to win at the dice game. I swear it wasn't a skill issue. Chat just kept giving me the wrong information. Finally, we make it to Last Judge, who gives us another achievement and entry into Act 2. We grab the spool fragment at the top of this room, and curiosity gets the best of me as I run to the elevator to the right here. I didn't know it trapped you inside once you entered. So our first traipse into the Citadel is spent wandering through the underworks, collecting a few bits and baubles on our way through. I grab the Delver's Drill before breaking free into the Citadel proper, making a beeline for the Grand Bellway and working my way up to Cogwork Dancers, or as I like to call them, the Gay Bug Ballet. They give us another achievement, and I work my way through the lower Cogwork core, then get to the Pale Oil in the archives as fast as possible. Needle 2 will be our last strength upgrade for a while, and I want to be tip-top shape for the things we'll be doing in the meantime. We return to the Citadel to take on Trobio, then clear out the right side of the Underworks and obtain Clawline. I make my way up and around back into the archives, collecting a piece of the Threefold Song and obtaining the first of 3 Cogheart pieces. I make my way back to the left and am met with a surprise. I had no idea that there was a second arena here after freeing the choir boys. Once you move the block below, there's literally no reason to go back through this portion of the room. If anything, it gives me their journal entry, I suppose. I grab the Taste of Farloom and finally start heading towards the Feydown Cloak, running through the slab, grabbing what I can along the way, and completing the climb. And now we head back to the Citadel. There's just so much stuff to do there, man. We start by saving Jubilana and completing the Find Pins quest. Movement being a lot nicer now with wings, I clear out the left side of Coral Chambers and head into the High Halls, collecting enough fleas for the halfway there achievement. We clear out High Halls, making sure to banish all the Claw Maidens forever, before taking on and winning the High Halls Gauntlet with ease, collecting the second piece of the song. As a side note, each time I pass through this long hallway, I'm making sure to kill every Grand Reed, as we'll need a lot of rosaries to finish buying out all the shops later. Now that we have wings, we head into the Memoriam and clear out everything there, including grabbing the final Cogheart piece and obtaining the Volt Vessels, one of my favorite red tools in the game. We save Big Flea and head down to the core to wake up Second Sentinel, make our way into White Ward for the Injector Band. We'll be coming back later for the Unraveled. Tired of running around this godforsaken place, I decide to start doing some cleanup around the map, bringing my newfound movement tech to Farfields to get everything there I couldn't before. The Mask Arena is a little scary at first, but once I realized I'm him, it wasn't that difficult. I take the Mask Shard and run over to grab the Silk Speed Gauntlets, which will save us loads of time, with the copious amounts of backtracking we're about to get into. I grab a Warding Bell and take the beast back to Bone Bottom for a final time, turning in the last donation quest. We've collected a lot of relics at this point, so we beast over to Bellheart and turn in our stock. I then do some miscellaneous cleanup, obtaining the Beast Crest from Hunter's March and heading down to the Deep Docks to finally pay a visit to the Forge Daughter, obtaining our second crafting kit along with the rest of her stock. I use this opportunity to finally work my way through Deep Docks before realizing I don't have a spare simple key to clear it out right now. I mean, I do have one, but I was about to use it to clear out Wormways. I have to come back later anyways in Act 3, so there's no rush. There isn't much to do here. I obtain the Sharp Dart and do the Plasmian quest for the file, then beast over to Greymoor to get into the Wisp Thicket, grabbing New's Tool Pouch and the Vintage Nectar for the Taste of Farloom along the way. I get a little too loosey-goosey at the Father of the Flame, being sent down to 2 HP and being forced to lock in. After obtaining the Wispfire Lantern, I grab the Mask Shard, the Flea, and the Craft Medal, before heading to the right, saving Krot, and walking into Sinner's Road for the first time. We grab Barbed Bracelet and fight Big Ass Jim for their ingredient, saving the second Courier Brother and accepting the Roach Guts quest. We'll kill as many Muck Roaches as we can as we head to the right to grab another simple key and a Flea, then sit on Skinks' bench and head back to the left to finally get enough guts for the quest. We use the key on the prince's cage and step into Biowater. Since we have wings, we should be able to clear it all in one go, but I realized that I don't have enough maps for the Trail's End quest. So instead, I just open up the Bellway and beast over to the Blasted Steps so I can clear out the Sands of Karak. I take out the conch flies for entry, obtain the Needle Strike from the Pinstress, and step into the sands. I don't need to do everything here on my first pass, since I'll have to come back in Act 3 for Crust King Khan, but I at least grab all the collectibles, including the Crust Nut, and buying out Grindel's shop, get another Simple Key, the Volt Filament, defeat the enraged Conchfly, and grab my second favorite red tool, the Conch Cutter. I beast back to Bellheart to do the Courier Rasher for the final part of the Taste of Farloom, but I see the Savage Beastfly quest on the board, so I beast over to Farfields to deal with them real quick. Finally, I take the Rasher and run to the Citadel, obtaining my third needle upgrade, bringing our damage per hit to 17, a massive 51 damage with a single Silk Spear. Now that I'm jacked up, I stop by Sinner's Road because I forgot to turn in the Roach Guts quest, and then head back into Biowater. I save a flea and buy out as much of Sakra's store as I can, then run around grabbing everything else I can get my hands on before making my way up to survive Grohl's Gauntlet. I collect the Seeker's Soul for the Silken Song quest, then step upwards into the Dusk real quick for the Key of Apostate and the Broodmother's quest. I head back to the Bellway and proceed left into the Mist. It's high past time I paid Phantom a visit. I grab the flea before heading into their arena. With this much gear, it really is not a fair fight. We achieve Phantom's achievement and head down to the Architect, since we finally have enough tools to obtain their crest. I take some time to spam this one room of enemies to complete the Broodmother's quest, afterwards heading up to Songclave to turn in another few quests. I head over to the High Halls real quick to fight the second Sentinel, then delve into the White Ward to obtain the Surgeon's Key and rescue Sherma. While I'm here, I also grab the Spool Fragment and fight the Unraveled for my second Silk Heart. I realize I'm only one Ventrica away from collecting them all, plus I still need a bunch of cloths for the Songclave quest, so I take a quick jaunt over to the Coral Chambers for my achievement. I'm starting to realize now might be a good time to start completing Hunter's Journal entries, so on my way to grab the baby, I clear out a bunch of enemies in the Archives. I head back up and grab the flea from above the Archives, before heading to the Memoriam so I can finally enter the Putrefied Ducks, saving Jubilana along the way. I unlock the Duck's Bellway, which is the final Bellway I need for the achievement, before saving Vogue and popping into the Pure Lake so I can send the fleas here in a bit. Then I head back to the Bellway to finally clear out the rest of Deep Dogs. Thankfully, there isn't much to do here, just Flint Slate, a Spool Fragment, a flea, and fighting Cygnus and Gron to open the way to the Diving Bell for Act 3. I'm only now starting to realize just how insanely big this game is. So many areas to clear out, man! And there's still so much left to do! One of the last areas I've yet to clear out is the Slab. I grab all the collectibles and work my way through finding all the keys, and grab the final 2 fleas of the run. Then I head in to the first Sinner fight. Best boss in the game casually, easily. Obtaining another achievement, plus the final Silk skill we can get until much later in Act 3. With the Slab cleared out, I beast to Greymoor to move the fleas, then I have to quit out so I can immediately move them again to their last location, netting me the Egg of Flelia and the final tool pouch of the run. With that, we are officially nearing the end of the run. I say that because while there isn't too much tangibly left for us to do in Act 2, this is the point of the run where it would behoove me to fill in as many journal entries as I can. I spend the next 3 hours doing nothing but running around the map and filling out the journal with enemies. What a fun achievement! While I'm filling out the proverbial Pokédex, I stop by and grab things wherever I can, like buying out Jubilana's shop while filling out the Archives Dex for the final Spool extension I need for the achievement, and visiting Chakra while in Biowater to complete Trail's End. Other than that, it's a whole lot of ripping and tearing. After the Trail's End quest, I realized something terrible while checking what achievements I have left. I completely forgot about the speedrun achievement. I could have done it ages ago when I first entered Act 2, but incredibly luckily for me, I still have the file that I used for the do 10 push-ups every time I get hit video, which is miraculously only at 2 hours. I'm not considering this cheating because I still did the work myself to get the file to this point. It's not like I booted up a new file and teleported to the final room with all the gear unlocked. After a quick visit to the alternate timeline and achieving both the Weaver Queen ending and the speedrun achievement, I returned to the main timeline to finish filling out the Hunter's Journal, except for enemies and locations that we'll be visiting again in Act 3. Next, I kill Lace 2 so I can do the Cursed Crest ending. On the way to the Witch of the Woods, I wrap up Pavo's storyline and obtain the Bellhome key, which is required for the true ending for some reason. Don't even get me started, man. I finally make my way over and collect the Polyp Pouch, whose quest I had finished ages ago, and become cursed. On the way to GMS, I also grab the Silksong quest from the snail shop, the perfectly normal denizen of Farloom. Thankfully, with 3 needle upgrades, GMS isn't that difficult, even without heals and tools. I obtained both the Twisted Child ending and the Steel Soul achievement, since this is our first time completing the game in this timeline. I head to Yarnaby to get uncursed and obtain the Witch Crest, which gives me enough slots open to talk to Ava for both Vesta Crests and the final Hunter upgrade. We'll need the Shaman Crest from Act 3 before we can obtain the Silksong. I run around collecting all the the normal denizens of Farloom's souls, which finally gives me everything I need to enter Act 3. We are but a measly 10% away from 100% completion, and a few more achievements away from our final goal. I ascend to the cradle and take GMS down for the 3rd time, granting us entry to the final portion of the run. Act 3 begins. All we have left to do is the extra bosses' quests, the main 4 bosses to obtain their hearts, and whatever else we need to complete the Hunter's Journal. It has been 4 grueling days of gameplay, and I can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. We start off Act 3 with a Bell Eater, who gets absolutely melted by Volt Vessels and Pimpillos. After obtaining the Beastling Call and the Bonded achievement, we rush story progress as we need the Silk Sword to access a lot of the things we need in Act 3. We descend into the Abyss and spend as much time as we need hunting down the journal entries for the enemies of this area, as ideally, we won't be coming back here until the very end of the run for Lost Lace. We say hi to Lace. Lace's apparition? Lace's astral projection? What is this thing? Is this ever explained? It makes no sense. Maybe Hornet is hallucinating off of acid lake fumes or something. Let me know in the comments if you know how Lace is pulling this off. Anyways, we collect the Silk Sword and finish collecting all the journal entries, including the Void Tendrils one in the Weave Nest, then do the most cinema part of the game and escape the Void. We make it back to Bone Bottom and obtain the final crest of the game for the Consumed achievement, then learn the Melody of the Deep from the Snail Shaman. The Snail Shamans. I beast over to Bellheart and collect all the quests that have shown up and make a beeline for Fleetopia. That final needle upgrade is going to feel so good. After flubbing Flea Dodge for 20 minutes, I complete the festival and obtain the final Pale Oil, grabbing the Mr. Mushroom quest while I'm here. Once back at Bellheart, I have to dip into Shellwood to save Penmaster Pliny, and obtain the Pale Steel Needle. I pop by the Citadel to take on Tormented Trobio, my goat, who is no match for my newly found power. Then, I head over to the Blasted Steppes to accept the Pinstress's duel. And while I'm in the area, I head up into the Sands of Karak to fight Crust King Khan, wading through several waves of garbage to get to the top of the garbage pile to fight a boss that's really more of a gimmick. Sorry, it's the vitriol spilling out again. I'm just really ready for this challenge to be over at this point. After obtaining his heart and another achievement, I head over to Mount Fae to fight the Pinstress and obtain her achievement plus the pin badge. Then ascend a bit further to finally turn in the broken tool to the Silk Shot, which is the final tool of the run, netting me another achievement. I use the Silk Sword to access this mask shard I couldn't get earlier, then head back to Bone Bottom to begin the mad dash for Mr. Mushroom. While I'm here, I also absorb Ava for the Silksong. I visit Mr. Mushroom in all their locations: Bone Bottom, Farfields, Greymore, the Slab, Mount Fay, and then to the Citadel for the final climb. On the way, I obtain the Pale Nails for the final Silk skill, netting me the Woven achievement. After finishing the climb, we talk to Mr. Mushroom for a final time and see him off, then descend back to Farloom after getting these guys' journal entry. On my way down, I make sure to grab the Cradle map, then head over to the Marrow to take on Carmelita. I make it to the boss, but realize I still need to activate the Gur quest, so I talk to Gilly. Oh my... oh my god. Like a ghillie suit. I just now got that. That's funny. So I talk to Gilly to activate it and head back to the Bellheart quest board. While I'm here, the Garmond quest has been activated thanks to all the times I passed by him in the overworld, so I head over to the Blasted Steps real quick for another achievement. Sorry, Zaza. Now I head over to Carmelita, who puts up a hell of a fight, getting me down to 1 HP before finally falling. Not that it would have mattered. Dying in a dream won't lose you your file in Steel Soul mode. We collect our second heart and quickly peep downwards to take on Gert. We complete Gilly's quest for a mask shard and start the Crawfather quest, appearing for jury duty at the Court of Cross. I return to Bellheart to turn in the Dark Hearts quest for our second to last mask shard, then run back to the Farfields for a final time. Sprint Master Swift? More like Piss Master Shit. Sorry. Anyways, I claim the final mask shard of the run and obtain the Masked achievement. With that, we have only 2 main tasks left before we can fight the final boss: Lost Verdania and Nyleth. I run to Verdania and start a mad sprint for all the orbs. I am itching to be done with this run. I'm going so fast, in fact, that I take my first death. I bet people who are watching this on a second monitor got really worried for a second. Anyways, we fight the Clover Dancers, ending the Doomed Yowie storyline and claiming another heart. Afterwards, we run back inside for our final map of the game and obtain the Cartographer achievement. Our penultimate task is here. All I have to do is go to Nyleth, finish the Hunter's Journal, and I will finally be free from this fresh hell I have subject myself to. I make it to Seth and start feeling myself play a little too loosey-goosey. This isn't Verdania anymore. If I die, I would lose everything. So, I lock in and manage to finally take down Seth with 2 masks left. Rest in peace, friend. Nyleth, thankfully, is a giant damage sponge and goes down in almost no time at all, giving us her achievement and the final heart of the run. Finally, we make it to New and turn in the completed Hunter's Journal. Huh? No, not again! It's Hollow Knight all over again! We forgot to go into the Act 3 Wormways to get all of the plasmified journal entries. Thankfully, it's not required that we do the entire quest. We just have to spam load this bench over and over to respawn the nearby enemies. Also, Zengo gets shoved up against the wall and absolutely destroyed. You're welcome, Zengo haters. Alright, we cleared out the Wormways again. Now, we talk to New and turn in the completed Hunter's Journal. What? Seriously? What is it this time? Oh my god, it's the Alubas. The enemies at the top of the freaking world. I cannot believe I forgot to do this. Okay, we got the Aluba. Now, I'm going to turn in the completed Hunter's Journal. And... Oh Hey guys, guess what? If you're on Steel Soul, the summoned savior is required to fill out the journal. So now we get to go on another world tour. Yippee! Dude, I thought I was going to be finished with this run hours ago. But this really, truly, actually is the final thing we need to do. I start the Steel Soul quest and hop around the edges of Farloon for the servants' hints, and return to Bone Bottom a final time to take them on. I don't even talk to the servant after the boss is dead. I got what I came for. You can rot in servitude for an eternity for making me do another thing. Okay, I return to New to turn in the completed Hunter's Journal, and I get the final achievement I need. Other than Lost Lace, nothing is standing between me and completing the first ever double all achievement speedrun of the Hollow Knight series. After a grueling, terrible, disgustingly awful 34 hours of mindless chores, I finally get to progress to the end of the game. We descend to the abyss a final time. I'd like to say that it was a climactic, heart-stopping final fight, but I am just so ready to get out of this challenge. I waste no time at all destroying Lost Lace. It's not even close. I don't even have to heal a single time. I've braved the best and the worst of the entirety of both kingdoms and what they have to offer. We obtain the Mr. Mushroom achievement, and after the credits roll, we get completion, Steel Heart, and speed completion achievements, finishing the double platinum speedrun at 34 hours, 7 minutes, and 10 seconds. In retrospect, I surprisingly had more fun platinuming Silksong than I did in Hollow Knight. While I do believe Hollow Knight is more replayable at the end of the day, Silksong's movement, combat, and build variety is leagues ahead, making it for a more enjoyable grind if you're being required to do everything in the game, good and bad. Silksong still loses points for that Act 3 requirement, but for this time, I suppose, it gets the cactus stamp of approval. I'm proud to have been a part of the Hollow Knight community for so many years. Thank you so much for 10,000 subscribers, and here's to the years to come. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!